Ever since she left the British royal family with Prince Harry, Meghan Markle has constantly been at the center of criticizing and backlashing. Even her podcast on gender stereotypes and norms, Archetypes, spread a lot of false information. In a big development, now the audio streaming giant Spotify and other platforms have officially given Archetypes and all its related projects the boot following hundreds of complaints. This must leave Meghan Markle shaken and heartbroken. Let's dive deeper into what exactly transpired and the events that led to this unprecedented decision by Spotify. I will also share my views on how this ban could impact Meghan and Prince Harry's future endeavors. Meghan Markle's Spotify podcast Archetypes debuted at the end of August, vowing to take on topics like labels that hold women back. But in its first episode, the show has plunged into controversies over allegations that it was pushing inaccurate claims. She told tennis star Serena Williams in an interview that the fire occurred in Archie's room and he was not affected. However, this claim was disputed by the British press and South African authorities as no such incident had occurred. Another episode with Margaret Cho and Lisa Ling had Meghan talking about being called a B-word by the royal family, something Buckingham Palace has dismissed. As critics were quick to point out, parts of the show devoted to her celebrity guests were poorly thought out. They largely revolved around Meghan herself, not real debates on stereotypes. Even criticism had started pouring in. One could very well have seen that Archetypes are using the issue of gender stereotypes as a smokescreen to further Meghan's personal agenda against the monarchy. People felt the podcast is just spreading, much like the wild claims, without any substantiated proofs and fact-checking in place. With the negative feedback and complaints piling on, Spotify CEO Daniel Ek finally gave in to take strict actions. In a statement earlier in the week, he said, "After careful review and assessment, it is clear the Archetypes podcast contains factually incorrect information that risks misleading millions of people around the world. That content can now not even be aired on Spotify, for that matter, period." It now joins all the rest of the projects on Archwell Audio, Archetypes now, banned with immediate effect from the Spotify platform. Our platforms facilitate discussion and sharing viewpoints. Much respect is done with truth and transparency. Archetypes has not followed these core values and standards of our company policies. Though we are striving with a neutral approach, health, safety, and facts would be the first priority over other commercial interests to us. This blanket ban of all her projects has left Meghan Markle shaken and distraught according to sources close to her. She is said to be quite devastated at this biggest setback for the Archetypes, which were envisioned to be her most ambitious project, post the royal exit. Meghan acknowledged Spotify's decision, in a brief statement through her representatives, and expressed disappointment, saying that she would open a discussion of the errors while rebuilding trust. Clearly, maintaining a public stance in spite of such a huge professional blow. It quotes a source close to Meghan as saying that she has been shaking and crying behind closed doors over the ordeal, knowing it could greatly hurt her chances in court. All her post-Megxit dreams of establishing herself as a serious global icon are now under threat. At the same time, Meghan and Harry's production house Archwell has reportedly signed multi-million-dollar exclusive deals with Spotify and Netflix for podcasts and shows. Now that the flagship podcast has been pushed out from the platform, Spotify may have a rethink or a renegotiation of the terms of its contract. Hardly would Archetypes or any future shows have it that easy, getting similar global listenership without the huge reach that Spotify offers them and doing so simultaneously, affecting brand value in the process. Meghan seems to have taken on more than she can chew with Archetypes. The idea of exploring stereotypes was noble, but basing the whole thing on personal anecdotes without verification just overbearingly cringy. Ethical fact-checking of any claim first before putting it out to the world, for someone visible as a public figure. The podcast ended up enabling her critics who felt she had an agenda against the royal family. She should have, therefore, first won some credibility by doing some meteor shows before she dived headlong into her sensitive personal experiences and allegations. This Spotify ban is a huge blow, but hopefully a learning lesson for Meghan on responsibilities of a global icon.